On today's episode of Homeworthy, we're heading to East London for a look inside the effortlessly stylish home of Laura Jackson. A food columnist, former television presenter, entrepreneur, and co-founder of the homeware brand Glassette, Laura has created a space that reflects her love of thoughtful design and easy, elegant living. At the heart of it all is her sun-drenched kitchen, which opens directly into a lush garden, the perfect backdrop for her signature style of entertaining. Enjoy!
Hi Homeworthy, I am Laura Jackson. Welcome to my house in London. Come on in, wipe your feet.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hello Homeworthy, I'm Laura Jackson. I am a broadcaster and the founder of Glassette, and I am so excited to show you around my home. So I think that this house is really special. We've been here for about 10 years now, and we live in the East End of London. When I walked into this house, you know when you just get that feeling and something just, I don't know, it just really touches you. There was just this real sense of home and belonging as soon as we walked in. It was very different to how it looks now, but I saw something so special within these bricks. And I just knew I wanted to bring my family up here. And from the moment I walked in, I knew it had this incredible feeling to it, and it was a place that I wanted to make my home. These houses were built by an architect called Archibald Colbert in the 1900s, and they are called Victorian villas. They are double-fronted villa-like properties, and that's so special for this area because it was basically all farmland that then this architect developed into property, and it's actually in the conservation area, so they're very strict about what we can and can't do, which was a bit of a challenge when we were decorating the house and thinking about how we wanted to reconfigure our family setup. As soon as we started pulling away at things, there was more things to do, more work to be done. I don't know, there was just such a charm to it and an enthusiasm, a naive enthusiasm that kind of kept us going. What we wanted to do was really focus on the kitchen. For me, that really is the heart of the home. I've got a huge dining table that is 3 meters long because I want to be able to sit and eat. My kids do artwork, someone else perch at the end of the table for a cup of tea. So it's this huge table that the kitchen has kind of been formed around, I guess. So this room right here feels like it's gone through the most transformation. It was the biggest space that we could change. And it's a space that I spend the most amount of time in, and don't tell the other rooms, but I think it's the one that I love the most. So I started my business Glassette in 2021 out of the frustration of trying to buy homeware from lots of different places and not finding one platform that gave me great commerce, a place to buy all of these beautiful things, and great content. I really loved Food 52, and I felt really inspired by the fact that you could read stories and then shop the stories. So that was the idea behind Glassette. We are one of the biggest marketplaces in the UK and support 350 small to medium-sized businesses. That makes me so happy. And we've got so many amazing products and brands and artists and ceramicists. And putting it all together, it's like one big family. And I love that everybody, you guys, me, I shop on there a lot, can buy something and feel like you've got a little bit of Glassette at home. It's been like a mad journey, if I'm totally honest, because it's a marketplace, there's so much tech involved, but the fact that I get to storytell around beautiful products, it just honestly, it makes me so happy every day. Welcome to my living room. I was so excited when I walked into this space, when I first kind of looked around the house. It was full of this amazing floral wallpaper. And I thought originally that the wallpaper was cream. And I looked behind the curtain and it was white. So somebody had obviously smoked in this room, and they smoked so much that the wallpaper was yellow. And actually, after spending quite a bit of time in this room, I could really get that smell of smoke. So even though I really didn't want to get rid of the wallpaper, I kind of felt that I had to. But I wanted to be sympathetic to the room and the space. So we kept all of its original features, obviously. If you kind of have a look in the corner here, you can kind of see some like beautiful grapes that kind of follow the room around. I really, really love that feature. And I really wanted it to feel light and bright, so we painted it in all the same colour. There's a bit more of a sheen on the ceiling because I wanted to give the illusion of more light, but it's painted in a colour that I created with a company called Coat, and it's called Pablo. It's got a bit of a lilac to it, and sometimes it can look a bit grey, and I'm always wondering whether I should change it, but I don't know, I like the undertone of the lilac, so I've kept it as it is. We got this fireplace from a reclamation yard in Leytonstone down the road, and it's actually not an original, it's a replica, but it was so hard to find the exact marble that I wanted that we had to do it new. And I think it's quite sympathetic to the room, but it pulls out the purple in the paint with the kind of the purple marble on the fireplace. And then this piece of art I got during COVID. It's by an artist called Rob Tucker. And actually I saw his work through a friend, Beata. And Beata had used him in this project, and he'd done, I think it was like a vase with some flowers in. It was so lovely. And I thought, that is an artist that I want on my walls. It felt really bright and vibrant and fun and energetic. So I commissioned him to do me a big ship. There's not really any reason why, I just absolutely love it. And I really like the colours. It feels a bit wacky, but it's full of personality, and yeah, it's a bit of an icebreaker when people walk in the room. I wanted something really simple when it came to lights in here. I've got my wall lights, which are from Pinch, and I love them, and it just adds a bit of texture to the room. I haven't quite got my overhead light sorted yet. I'm still on the hunt, so if anyone sees anything, please let me know. And actually recently I've changed a bit of this room round because the walls are all the same colour and it feels quite muted. I wanted to add lots of colour with some of the furniture. So I've just recovered the sofa in this beautiful blue, which is a Beata human linen, and my friend Folly Chambra, she's called Natalie, she very kindly helped me pick some colours and get it right. I think I just really wanted to create a space that felt comfortable, and I've been here for 10 years and I hadn't quite got that yet. So I wanted to add a bit of print, and I went for this Sven 10 fabric in these giant cushions, so soft. And then this amazing rug that I got was also a Beata human rug. And one of the reasons why I went for the blue sofa is because I really wanted to pull out the blue that we can see here. I thought it was a really, really lovely colour, because I've also got blue here. My friend Magnus Reed is an incredible artist, and I bought this a long time ago, and it was in my basement for ages, and I did not know where to put it. And I kind of had an idea a few years ago that I wanted to cover up the television. I didn't quite know how to do it. So I worked with a friend who's a carpenter, and he created this moving art. Are you ready for it? So the TV is behind here. There we go. And it's great because it kind of comes out and we're watching a film, we can all sit wherever, and then when we're done with it and I want to kind of hide it away, it goes back in here. And there we go. Like you'd never know. These armchairs I got from eBay many moons ago, about 10 years ago. And we covered it in Virginia white wiggle fabric, which is so lovely, but quite delicate. If you get close, you will see some kind of lived-in marks, shall we say, from the kids. But they're kind of Howard-esque style armchairs. They're not Howard's, they're a riff on them. But they're really comfy and really great to watch telly. And then I really toyed with having a big upholstered ottoman in the middle of the room here, but it just didn't feel very me. So I spent about 5 years looking for a coffee table, and we landed on this. I got it from a company called Studio and Store. They are an online UK vintage furniture company. I'm so happy with it. It's really nice to have all my books out, and I reference these books a lot. This is one of my favourites. Menu Design in America is a classic. Whenever I feel like I'm looking for some inspiration, whether it's colours, typography, how to balance everything creatively, I go to this because it's brilliant. Also, I have this on the fireplace. It's by a company called Studio Bust, and I had this done when I was pregnant with my last child. This kind of symbolises to me strength and resilience. And I was so lucky to be able to carry a baby, and I'm so grateful, but it was at times tricky. But this kind of reminds me of how amazing our bodies are and what we go through. So this is kind of a bit of a momentum that's here. I think what's really special about Victorian houses, especially in the UK, the ceiling height. It's really vast in here. Sometimes it's tricky because when there's a long room like this, as usual in Victorian houses, the fireplace is always in the middle. So it's always a bit tricky about where to place your furniture. And sometimes there is a bit of space at this end and a bit of space at this end that could be utilised better. But I do kind of like the feeling of space in here, and we've got the high ceilings, which we'll see throughout the house, especially in the kitchen, but it's really light and airy. We've got a window here that goes out, that looks out into the garden, and we have toyed for so long about whether we open it up and put French doors in there and have it as a kind of a walk through. We've never decided on it, which is why we've still got the window, and I'm still not quite sure. I don't know if it needs it. I don't know if having this kind of room feels enough on its own. And do we need more light and more space? But yeah, it's a really good example of a Victorian living room, this. So now we're in the hall, which is a very light space. The one thing that does bother me about this though is where do people put their shoes? Have a look down here. I'm always like, I'm going to put them away, I'm going to tidy them up, but I've tidied for you guys coming round, but I just wanted a bit of truth, a bit of realism. I've got 6 people that live in this house, so there is always a lot of shoes. This is a travertine table that I had made. It's based on a very expensive, high-end travertine hall foyer table that I saw, which was so expensive, and it's actually way more cost-effective to have it made from scratch. So I designed the height and the shape of the top, and it just feels like it's a lovely table just to throw your keys on, and an entrance hall table. I always think they're really hard to get right. Just to kind of give more of space in this hallway, I wanted to have a mirror that kind of reflected the light as soon as it came in. One thing that I really wanted to have on the doors was ripple glass. It's just such a small detail, but it gives a bit of privacy so no one can kind of see in. I didn't want any stained glass, and it creates these waves of light when the sun goes over the front of the house, which I really like. So that kind of mirrors this rippled light. And then here we've got some photographs. So my husband's a photographer, and for us photography is really beautiful artwork, and we love collecting photography. So these are 2 of my husband's. He didn't take them, but something that he bought. I just think they're so amazing. I could spend hours looking at their faces and their body language and just thinking about stories of who they are and where they've been and what they're doing. I don't know, whenever I look at it, it kind of gives me a bit of escapism, which I think that's what art's all about, isn't it? This is a really lovely light by a brand called Pale Fire that we stock on Glassette, and this colour is brick. Everything feels kind of quite light in here, so I wanted to have a bit more of an earthy tone with something, and I thought that the lamp would give me that kind of depth that I was looking for. It's also like a really lovely light. This is all handmade with paper, so it just gives off the most beautiful light when this hallway is kind of dark. And this colour is a colour that I created with coat. Again, the whole house is actually the coat collection, and this has got butter's become very trendy now, but when I did this about 5 years ago, and we wanted to have warm yellow tones, it hadn't quite made it into the mainstream, and yeah, it's such a lovely warm white with these undertones of yellows and oranges and kind of a soft butter. And then we got this beautiful vintage light, again from my friend Natalie at Folly Chambre, and my children were playing with the ball, which they should not be playing with the ball inside. They should not be kicking the football inside. My son kicked it, broke the light, and now it's broken. So, yeah, I think I need to get it fixed. Unfortunately, all the light bulbs are out, but that's, I want to say that's living with boys, but I don't want to generalise, but that's living with boys. And then I've just done this gallery wall, and it's taken, can you believe it's taken me 10 years to do a gallery wall? It was so hard to decide where to put everything. And I got some brown paper and I rolled it out and I drew the size of everything, kind of did a bit of a play on the wall. I find it really hard with my dyslexic brain to kind of know where to put everything and not make a mistake. So that's why I did it on paper, and that's why it took me like 10 years. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it is. I got these beautiful plates done for the kids from a brand called The English Boys. And each of the plates have got the names of the kids and when they were born. Yeah, it's a nice memory wall. This is John and I before we had children. No grey hairs, happy. And this is a print by the photographer Martin Parr, and he is one of my husband's heroes. And I think it's so British, this photo. A woman not looking that happy, serving ice cream to kids. They're probably shouting at her. It just screams British seaside to me. I just absolutely love it. A beautiful piece of artwork by my son. White kids are just so obsessed with like gems and buttons and things. Anyway, I quite like it. That sits here. And then this was something that I got on my travels when I recently went to Cairo. And I feel like it's a symbol of good luck. So that's on the wall. And then before we get in the kitchen, we've got this round window, which I found through my friend Cote de Folk on Facebook Marketplace, I think it was. It was 50 quid. I got 2 of them. And if I'm shouting at someone, I'm like this, excuse me. Or actually, if I've got like a cup that I need washing up, I'll just shove it in here. But I love space and light, and it gives the illusion of more space and light with this round window. Are you okay, Barry? And I just love an indoor window. I just think it's so great. When we painted the inside the brasserie brown to match the brown on the staircase. And yeah, I don't know, I love it. One thing that I did wrong when we were doing up the house, I said to the guys doing the build, who were amazing, we had a light switch, and I said, oh, just, put it where you think is fitting. And they put it in the middle of the wall, which is mad. I feel like it should be a little bit over here, and when I look at it, I don't know, wish I could just cut it out and just move it here. But I can't. It's a reminder to always be in the details. And then we've got the wall chart, just to see how much the kids are growing. And actually, it should make me happy, but it makes me feel really sad that they're growing up so quickly. But I love having all of their heights on the wall. This is my kitchen nook, I guess that's how you'd describe it. It's a bit of a living room within the kitchen, and I tried to zone it off with this Nordic knots checkerboard rug. There are so many plants in here, and I can't take any of the credit for these plants. It's very much my husband's doing. And I think because it is so light and bright in here and warm pretty much all year round, that they do grow very well. This was an amazing lemon tree that I had, and I got home and my son had picked off every leaf, and there was a couple of little lemons growing and he pulled off the lemons. I'm just really hoping that they're going to grow back at some point, but it's not looking good, is it? This is a sofa that I got from IKEA, and it was £100, and I just wanted something in the kitchen that felt like if anything was to happen to it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So I went inexpensive, and it's a great, comfortable place to sit. I put on like a boucle chocolate cover. This is by a company called Butte in Scotland, and it's so warm and so cozy. And then I've got some lovely cushions. These were from Glassette, and then this was from one of our Glassette brands. I bought this table actually recently when I went to Dorset. It's just a lovely little side table, somewhere I can put my cup of tea. I've been growing geraniums, and I've got a couple outside and a couple dotted around. That I can take the credit for. And then a lovely little vintage light as well. I just love this. That's so lovely. I'm not sure if I've got the right lampshade for it, but anyway. It's a really nice little lamp. And then here, I've got a really nice Beata lamp in the corner here, and it's great because you can point the light in different directions, so you can make it feel lighter and brighter, or you could kind of make it feel a bit more cozy. This is a vintage chair Oh, look. This is a sign that you have children. Lollipop sticks. Yeah, I've got it's really nice, really cozy. It's like a safari style chair. And then I've got a very well-loved, well-worn cushion on top. And then this, which is a Chateau Orlando Luke Edward Hall Whippet cushion. Isn't it, Barry? Baz? He's got his own cushion. Now, we're going to move over from the kitchen nook into the dining area. This table is massive. It's 3 meters by 1 meters, and I got it through Retruvius, who did our kitchen for us. It's a vintage table. Let me lift it up. I think it's an old school top, which is really nice because it's got loads of marks and it's got some initials somewhere and it's got stains from coffee cups. So I feel like it really tells a story, and I love the fact that it's got a second life and that my children are making marks on this table as well. I hope to have this for a really, really long time, but it really is the center of this whole room. There's lots going on in different nooks and corners, but this, I just feel like it centers the room. We've got some chairs that I got from West Elm, and look, I'll be honest, look how dirty they are. So hard to keep these clean when you've got kids. I think there's blue tack. Anyway, let's not do that now. How many people can we get around here? I think there's 12 people, so yeah, it feels big. And I love it when this table is full of people. I kind of go over there and make a drink or do a bit of washing up, and I look back and everyone just laughing around the table and having a good time. It really just feeds my soul. My husband bought these Peter Mitchell photos about 15 years ago, and he had them in the packaging in his office. And as soon as he got a house, he was like, I really want to put them on the wall. Like they mean a lot to me, and I bought them a long time ago and they've been sat in packaging. So when we had this space here and we were thinking about what we wanted to put on the walls, it felt so perfect. And we're both northern, from the north of England, and these photographs were taken in Leeds, the north of England. So I feel like it's a nod to back home as well. Although my daughter always says, is that Mama? Which is my dad's mum. I'm like, no, it's not. And she would be very offended if you told her that. This lamp I got from a vintage market in France, and it was 50 euros, and I just caught it at the corner of my eye. It didn't have a European socket, and it was needed a bit of TLC. Anyway, I took it to this great guy who lives locally, and he repairs lamps, and he did an amazing job. And now, oh no, only one of them works. Look at that. Oh no, it's coming back. Anyway, works better than it did do. But I love going to vintage markets and fairs and antique shops, wherever I'm on holiday, and just picking something up and bringing it home and then putting it into our house. I feel like that really tells a story of your home and your life. This kitchen is made for hosting, and that was the whole idea behind how we designed the space. It was very much an entertaining space, and a kitchen second maybe, but I wanted a big table that you could easily move in and out of at 2 points. So there's the garden there, and there's the kind of outdoor table there. And I wanted it to be a space that people could move around in. And there's kind of little vignettes for people to sit and chat at. So there's the seating area there, the seating area there, the seating area there. So very much thought about the design from a hosting perspective when we did this kitchen. I think it's very much set up for the summer, this house. So this, like the back bit, the garden, because it does feel so light and airy. And in the winter, when I can't use the outdoor space there and the outdoor space there, I get a bit frustrated because I think, it's so great, really want to use it. But it's definitely set up for hosting in the summer. I think my trick to a really good dinner party is preparation and keeping it really simple. I've got friends coming over in a couple of weekends time, and I'm gonna do a big Mexican feast. I know that I can cook one joint of meat on the barbecue, can get loads of tacos, everyone can kind of help themselves, so I don't need to plate anything. It's all done beforehand, and I've already prepped and organized everything in my head before anybody arrives. So keep it simple, cook something that you know that you can ace, don't try a new recipe, and keep it relaxed and casual, and ask for help. If someone says, can I bring something? Yes, you can. You can bring wine, and you can bring, I don't know, olives or a pudding. So yeah, keep it simple, keep it relaxed, and ask for help. This is the kitchen area. I feel like I should show you this because a friend of mine a long time ago told me you should have a table wardrobe, and I've really stuck with that. And I've got so many like napkins and placemats and things that I've collected from all over the world, things that I've made, things that I've bought from Glassette. These were from, I had these made for my wedding, which are kind of a peachy pink with a orangey gold trim. So, I mean, these ones we've just done for Glassette, which I just absolutely, look at this colour. It's so hard to find this colour. It's this lime green. It's called Evening Primrose. It's a Pantone called Evening Primrose, and it's very limey and bright, but it's just, I love it. I think it's beautiful. Oh God, I've not folded them up very well, have I? Just gently just put them in there and close the door. Hide it away. This island is huge. It was absolutely massive. I wanted to have an overhang so that we could fit in some chairs and people could use it as a breakfast island and sit up here and eat and chat and watch whoever's cooking, me or my husband, 50-50. And it's a travertine top. It gets stained quite easily, but again, I like the fact that it feels lived in. We've got a Gaggenau top, which was expensive, but I absolutely love it. It's brilliant to cook on. I don't love induction. It's gas. I feel like, I don't know, I get more of a feeling of heat when I'm cooking on gas. And then we've got 2 ovens down here, and it felt like a bit extravagant to have 2 ovens, I'm not gonna lie, but I use them all the time. The kitchen cupboards are vintage, and an amazing company called Vitruvius, who salvaged lots of amazing interiors and furniture pieces from all over the world, salvaged this kitchen for us. I think it was a church floor, and we made it into a kitchen. And I love the fact that we have repurposed a church floor into a kitchen, and it feels lived in. And I think it's really hard with a kitchen because usually they are new and they feel new, and I just didn't want that. So the floor is vintage as well, and it was really hard to think about what floor to decide on, but we went for these tiles, which, let me tell you, are an absolute nightmare to clean. When people message me on Instagram saying, I love your floor tiles, where did you get them? Shall I do something similar? I'm like, absolutely not. It is a nightmare to clean. And everything is a little bit higher. So my husband's really tall, and I didn't want standard height kitchen counters. So I think they're 1.1 or 1.2 meters. It's nothing worse than bending down cooking. So everything is a bit higher, which I like. And when we designed the kitchen with the Vitruvius, we really thought about practicalities. Again, the hob faces out rather than facing into the wall, because then when you're cooking, you've got your back to everybody, which I'm not a fan of. And we thought about how we best wanted to use the kitchen. And I want to see things, but I don't always want everything out. So we've got drawers for things, which I'm so sad I get really excited about. So all of the cups are in a drawer. This is my tea area. I love a cup of tea. I probably have 10 cups of tea a day. Oh no, this is broken. Oh my gosh, this is my Heather Taylor home mug that I love, which has got a bit of a crack in it. Anyway, all my mugs are in here, and it's really nice that they're in a drawer. And it does that. That's so satisfying. I only drink this tea. Do you want to? I'm from Yorkshire, which is in the north of England, and I only drink Yorkshire tea, and I have about 10 cups of tea a day. my insides are probably rotting. And then we've got these amazing shelves which are made of Iroko wood, and they are old, I think they're old school cabinets, something like that, but it's all reclaimed from Vitruvius. And this is where we kind of have all of our everyday bits and pieces. And hosting such a big part of everything that I do, I always like to have big sharing platters, so there's loads of them up here. This was a lovely picture that my best friend in New York got for me. She has been there for 15 years, and she always got me lovely little things from New York that make me think of her. So this is one of them, and then she got me that lovely little ceramic orange at the top there, which is great. I've tidied it up for you, but it's I like it being a bit messy. I think it feels lived in. I don't want it to feel like a big museum along here. So my husband keeps his cameras up here, look. So whenever the kids do anything ridiculous, he'll get out his point and shoot and take a quick picture of them. And this is absolutely out of control. And do you know what? We'd never used to have a base under it, and my husband used to just continually pour water on it. And the water ran down the back of the fridge, and it broke the fridge, and the fridge was off for like 2 days and we didn't even notice. But it's absolutely massive, this fern. I'd love to say that there's some rhyme or reason to it growing like this, but there isn't really. I don't know, it just seems to love it in here. It must be the heat, or I don't know what it is. It's absolutely huge. And we have to kind of trim it, give it a haircut so we can get into the fridge every now and again. But yeah, it's great. I feel like it really makes the room as well. And it brings out the green actually in the conservatory, which is kind of a bit of a deeper kind of muddy green, whereas this is such a bright green. It all really works well together. I got this from, again, Facebook Marketplace. My friend Sophie at Cote de Folk found this for me. I think it's so good when you put out into the ether, oh, I'm trying to find this. And then your mate will go, oh, I've just seen this on Facebook Marketplace. So lovely Sophie helped me buy this. And it was a placeholder. It was like 50 quid. I was like, just stick it here and we'll see what happens, and we'll get something when we find it. And about 8 years later, we still haven't found anything. But it's great because I love glassware, and it's got all of my glassware in it. It feels completely obscene because who's going to drink out of this many glasses? But it just makes me happy. I got these from a shop called Anout when I went to Cairo, which are great. And these are probably the most special things to me. They're called the Frenchette glasses. And I designed them for Glassette. And I just really wanted a small wine vessel that felt really Parisian and bistro-like. So I drew this, and we created a whole glassware line out of it, which is very exciting. This is the champagne coupe. So they live in here, and there's lots of lovely glasses. Oh, I found these actually. These were 10 euros from a place in France, and there's 6 of them, and I got them for 10 euros, but I've since seen them on the internet for a lot more money. So I feel like I got a good bargain there. This is the garden, and you've come on the most perfect day. It feels quite overgrown, but the sun's out, and I think it's quite a fair representation of our outdoor space. So we've got a little corner here. Actually, this used to run all along, and we didn't really have anywhere to sit and lounge outside, so we built the brick out. We got some striped chairs using outdoor material, just it's a bit harder wearing. And then I got this umbrella. I think I got it in a sample sale. It's from Raj, and they do tents for hire, but they also do some amazing outdoor furniture bits and pieces. Anyway, it just feels like such a nice sunny little corner. My friend Kitten Grayson helped me do the garden, and she's an incredible brain when it comes to gardening and colours and landscaping, and she really helped me figure out what I wanted to grow, where I wanted to grow it, and what I wanted to see throughout the year. So in every season there is always something, and we're kind of in summer now. These are just kind of past it, but I've left them because I just think they're so beautiful even when they're dry. These were the poppies again. I've kind of left them hoping that they'll self-seed and kind of create more mayhem. And this is our neighbour's cherry tree. And there's not that many cherries on it because my kids keep coming out and picking the cherries off it. But it's fine because it's over here, so it's all right. All of these planters are full of summery food that we eat. So we've got a big nasturtium plant here. I usually put these leaves into a pesto. We've got some lovely salad bits. It's been so hot though. All of these are bolted. They need a good water. And then we've got some beans here. We got a local guy to create this metal arch so all of the running plants could kind of cover it. It feels quite romantic. And then we've used the brick from outside the front of the house down here as well. I really, really love this garden. It makes me very happy. We built a shed for my husband. And I told you about the second, we bought 2 of the round windows, so one of them is at the top here, which is a nice feature. And we bought a wisteria plant, and for years it wasn't doing anything, and then all of a sudden it's just come into its own. This is a lovely apple tree, and my husband is very big on composting, so I'm going to put that in there because it's got a bit of a hole in it. We compost pretty much all of our vegetables and food and try and kind of put back into what we've got here. Look, oh wow, there's some poppies growing here as well. It feels quite wild, but I really like it like this. I don't want anything that feels too pristine. We've got some sweet peas here. These are so pretty. They smell amazing. It's so nice to kind of pick them and put them in the garden. It feels like a very lovely, lucky position to be in, to be able to pick flowers and put them in your house. And then we've got some Russian kale here. I just love how wild this is. And then we've got some rainbow chard. This has got absolutely wild since I was last here. It's totally out of control. But we've got a green egg here, and then we've got a alpha pizza oven here. And we, in the summer, most Sundays, we'll make a pizza with the kids, put it in the oven, and we'll all just sit here and eat it. It's really, really lovely. This is the swimming pool. This is where I come for a swim every morning and do about 4 to 5 lengths just to really start my day off right. But it's very hot in London, and yeah, just having something to entertain the kids until my swimming pool in real life. I really wanted to create something that very much felt like an extension of the kitchen, but it was outside. So we got our friend to make this metal awning for us, and I think the vine is here, and it's grown all the way up, all the way over there, which kind of feels very French. And we bought a beautiful vintage table from a French antique dealer on eBay, and these chairs, I think these were from eBay as well. And then we've got this climbing rose here, which is really pretty. I was growing some little alpine strawberries, but look at this one. My children have devoured them. They're only very small. They're really lovely and very cute. But it's all a bit of a crazy mess. And then we pretty much sit out here and have dinner most nights when it's lovely like it is today. And just the dappled light coming through the vine, I don't know, it just feels like I'm on holiday. I just love this house so much, it makes me happy. I've set the table with some Glassette bits for you guys coming. So we've got some kind of French style cutlery with the rattan handles, and placemats and plates. And I usually always lay the table like this. I just feel like elevating every meal. I don't know, it just feels really special. I think interior design is so subjective and so personal to where you are in your life, because I like to think about things in an aesthetically pleasing way, but I also like to think about things practically. I have 3 kids, and they are 6, 4 and 2, and I want the space to feel like it's theirs as well as it's mine. So the house is constantly evolving. I have a style of of interior design in my head that sometimes I would like to lean into more, something that feels a bit more minimal and a bit more clean, but obviously that is not possible with 3 children. So I'm constantly battling what's my interior design style with practically how can I live my life. I'm trying to marry the two. I think for me it's about creating layers within the house, and that changes all the time. Where I've been traveling, what I'm up to with work at the moment, it's a revolving door and it's a process, so I can't ever really define my interior style apart from the fact that it's personality driven and it's eclectic. I think the best compliment that someone could give me about my home isn't so much a word, it's a feeling. I really love it when people come into my home and help themselves. I like it when they go to the fridge and look in the fridge. I like it when they look for a cup to make themselves a cup of tea. That for me makes me know that they feel at home because they're helping themselves. So that's much better than someone saying, oh, it feels like this or it looks like that. They're just words. I like actions. This is the master bedroom where me and my husband sleep. It feels so light and airy in here, and even though the back of the house is quite hot and tropical, this feels very cool. We have got some bedding by the Secret Linen Store Glassette collaboration. So I designed this to have zigzag edges with a checkerboard border, and got like loads of little kind of, this is a vulgar linen pillow that I got on Glassette with a little L, which is nice. My husband hates scatter pillows, but I just really like to have them. We've got these vintage rattan bedside tables that I got from eBay, and this is a little vase from Glassette. I always love to have little flowers by the bed. This actually isn't for you guys coming. Especially in the summer, I just think it's really lovely. I've got a vintage light, which is a wooden ball, and then this is a pleated lampshade from Glassette. I've got so many books by my bed. This is one of my favourite books. Whenever I'm feeling like I want to be inspired, I always look at this, A Dictionary of Colour Combinations. It's such a good book. And I sleep with an eye mask because it gets quite light in here. And I don't know why, I really like the weight on my eyes of an eye mask. I feel like I'm getting old saying that. This rug as well, this is a Beata rug. I actually went to her showroom and she was redoing the studio, and she said that she was going to buy a new rug for her kind of living room in the studio, and I said, I'll buy this off you. And she was like, really? So I bought this and I got it cleaned, and I just love that I've given it a second lease of life in a new space. This is a vintage chest of drawers that I bought from a shop on Golborne Road in London, and the shop no longer exists, which is sad, but it's so lovely. It's absolutely massive. So I've got all of my, do you want to see? I love skincare and makeup, so it's hiding a multitude of sins, shall we say. That's very, very heavy, and it's got a lovely marble top. I just had a suit made by my friend Hattie, who has got a company called Hacks Tailoring, and I asked her to make me something based on a Dior suit that I absolutely love, and all of the fabric is from Huddersfield, which is where I'm from, so this feels really special. I would just want to look at it because it feels like a piece of art, so it's on the wall. This is a photo that my husband took in Sicily. We actually sell this on Glassette because so many people kept asking me where it was from. I was like, we need to sell it. But it really just makes me think of holidays. And then I've got some kind of, just kind of nice photographs of everybody. And I quite like that they're not on the wall. It feels a bit, I don't know, all thrown together. This is very tidy, by the way. This is usually full of stuff. I bought this amazing long mirror from a vintage shop in Brussels, and I just thought it was so different. I loved the shape of the bottom and the bald feet. It felt really different. It feels like quite a nice sculptural piece in here. This was something that I bought during lockdown from they had a photography charity project going on, and they sold some absolutely insane photography, and we bought this and had it framed. I just think it just makes me really happy whenever I look at it, and it's nice just to wake up to a beautiful piece of art in the morning. These are new blinds that I've just got, and I'm obsessed with this colour. It's like a really soft lime sorbet kind of colour, and the silk is from James Hare. They do, like, honestly, the most beautiful silks, and Natalie at Folly Chambra kind of helped me figure out what kind of style that I wanted. And then I've got some cafe blinds because I can usually see my neighbour across the street, and I love giving her a little wave when I'm in my underwear, but I thought, do you know what, quite nice to have some privacy as well. So I've just got these cafe curtains. These are vintage lights that I got from First Dibs, and they're only about 150 quid, but I wanted something that felt quite ornate in here. So those are two lovely glass wall sconces, and these are little flower beads that are nice. I still haven't found a ceiling light in here as well. Why are ceiling lights so hard? In its place, I've just got a paper lampshade, but I definitely need to find something. I think it's important to say that it's taken us a decade to do this house, and I'm still not finished with some of the details. And that's okay, because it takes a lifetime to make a house, and it's always a work in progress. These wardrobes we had made when we moved in. There wasn't any storage in here. And again, I was thinking, I want a bit of texture. I want something that doesn't feel too different for different sake, but I didn't want a standard wardrobe. So I got a friend of mine to build these in a ripple wood. And again, it's kind of just like nods to the rest of the house. So there's the ripple glass downstairs, and even though it's not, you know, in direct partnership with that, it feels like there's something about it that all makes sense. So this is rippled wood. And originally this whole room was blue because I went to stay in the most incredible hotel in Maine, and the bedroom that I slept in was blue, and I woke up and I just felt so tranquil and calm. I thought I really wanted to replicate that back at home. After a while, I got really bored of it, so I changed it to this colour, which I can't remember. It's a Farrow and Ball, but I can't remember exactly what colour. Maybe skimmed milk, something like that. Anyway, I wanted to keep the blue, so I've kept the blue. Just feel like it's kind of quite a nice surprise when you open it. There's a sticker here from one of my children that I couldn't get off. And kind of everything's ordered in drawers, and it feels a little bit neat, a little bit messy. I've got all my shoes in here. One of my favourite pairs of shoes are these Manolos. So my mother-in-law got me these as a wedding present when I married her son, my husband. And I wanted something that felt fun and colourful. I obviously, like many women of my age, love Sex and the City. And I just thought, I'm going to wear these shoes forever. And I do. I wear them all the time. I wear them with jeans. I wear them with shorts. I wear them with dresses. I wear them with suits. And even though I sometimes question if I should put them in a glass box and keep them pristine, it's also really nice to wear them, and they are just so special. I feel really special when I put them on. This is the bathroom. I actually really love this bathroom. I know I said that the kitchen was my favourite. No, the kitchen is my favourite, but this is such a nice big bathroom. This was 2 rooms when we moved in. So there was a wall here, and then this bit was the bathroom, and there was a bath in this corner. And I think for us as a family bathroom, it was just quite small. So me and my husband knocked down the wall. Oh, it was an absolute mess. And we did lose a little bedroom, which is probably not the right thing to do if you're thinking about selling a property, but it was really important, again, to use the space practically for us. So we created one big bathroom, and it already had this fireplace in it, which is original. It pretty much mirrors the one in the kids' playroom. And occasionally, in the winter, I do have a fire, which feels well zhuzhy, but it's really lovely. It makes you think that you're in like a lovely hotel or something like that. I've got a massive washing basket because there's 6 of us that live in this house, so there's always lots of washing to do. And I worked on the shape of this bathroom with my husband using cardboard. We kind of drew it all out and then put it together. And I was very inspired by Moroccan and Ibizan bathrooms. And again, because I don't have a style, really, I wanted it to feel light and airy. I wanted to feel like I was on a holiday. I wanted to have a big shower, and it's much bigger than a standard shower in the UK. But I feel like I've created that kind of holiday-esque style bathroom, which I really like. So we worked with a specialist on the walls and the shower because we created the space using Tadlac. Now, Tadlac is great if you're in really hot countries, but it started to crack and it just was not the right material for us. So recently I've had it done in micro cement using CG finishers, and this lovely Irish guy called Connor came and sorted my whole shower out for me. So it feels a lot more hard wearing now, a lot more durable, and I hope it's going to stand the test of time. We created an arch in here. Again, I kind of wanted to mirror the shape and the form of the shower, so there's a kind of a little arch where we keep all of our shampoos and conditioners and things like that. All of the sanitary ware in this bathroom, apart from the toilet, is secondhand. Biggest mistake I've ever made. I mean, not ever made, but in terms of the house, it was not a great shower at all. The shower leaks a lot. I've had problems with the taps. I would just never buy secondhand sanitary ware again, because you can actually buy it new and it looks secondhand. Like my tap, which is Devol downstairs, looks like it's vintage, but it's new. Anyway, I hope that you guys will learn from my mistake. This bath is a vintage bath, and it's absolutely massive, and it's actually not very comfortable. But it was an absolute nightmare to get in here. It was so much of a nightmare. We had to take out the window in the kids' room and crane it in because there was no other way to get it in. But it's a very deep bath and it's lovely. But because it's vintage, and this is the vintage plug that we've got, I'm not gonna hate on the bath. I just wish that I'd thought about using new sanitary rather than vintage. Anyway, sometimes it leaks the water out. This is a lovely wooden, I don't know, like bath carrier by Alfred Newall, who is an incredible artisanal carpenter in London, and he's just, I really love that. And then I kind of got like a lovely little Tadlac shelf on this side, but we redid that in micro cement. And then this was a vintage sink that I got from Original Baths, which is where I got the bath from as well. And we got these, where are the lights? Oh yeah, these are from Davy Lights. And they are lovely. I kind of like how they're pillar, again, thinking about the ripple that we've got on the front door and in the bathroom. It was kind of just nice that we've got some more kind of ripple features. These tiles, I actually can't remember where they're from, but I saw them in a toilet. I can't remember where. And I really like the style of long pillar tiles with these kind of breaks. So I wanted to try and replicate that. I wanted it to feel light and bright, so that's kind of why I've gone for a white tile. This is our family bathroom, and just so you know, I have tidied up and I've thrown everything in that cupboard over there because there's usually lots of kids' bits and pieces flying around. These are vulgar linen cafe curtains. It's nice to have a bit of privacy, but then the ladder lets in a bit of light, which is really lovely. This big piece of furniture is from a vintage shop in Brussels. And it was in this huge, again, it was like this huge warehouse. It was just in the corner. It was like I had to throw over it, and we got closer and did a bit of an inspection. We were like, wow, this could be a really great piece of furniture for the bathroom. So we brought it home, and this was before Brexit, so it was a lot easier. And then we just put in these lovely kind of curtains to hide the mess that's in here. And if you come and have a little look, I've got all my linen in here, folded up, and towels, and then holiday things and throws, and then all of our toiletries. Very, very neatly organised. Just close this, nothing to see. And then I've got this beautiful piece of art. I love art in the bathroom. I don't know, it kind of, for me, it makes it feel really homely. I've toyed with having a little armchair in the corner, but there just doesn't feel like there's the space for it. So this kind of, the art brings out the homeliness. And then this is John's grandma, which is really nice. Little photograph. She's watching me in the shower, which is a bit weird. And then I brought this back from holiday. It's a shell necklace. It's just a nice little trinket. My professional career, when I have been able to articulate it, which has only been in the last few years, is that it's all about community and bringing people together. Whatever guise that takes at that time, it's always about community. That's the foundation to everything that I do. And that isn't a word that I have just started using. It's very much in my DNA. I'm from a blended family. So bringing people together from all different walks of life and families has always been in me, because I don't know any different. So this is just how I've always been. And I've always wanted to have businesses and projects that have projected the sense of belonging, community, fun, and relatability. And that's been through the lens of television. It's been through the lens of starting my business, Glassette. It will be through anything that I do afterwards. But I like to make people feel something. For me, making people feel something is quite a hard thing to do. And that's my aim in life, to make people feel seen and heard. I think it's really hard to talk about one creative source of inspiration, because I feel like, again, not to sound wishy-washy, like, oh, it's everything, but it's sometimes the really small things that leave a lasting impression. Whether it's the way that I see someone move in the street, or whether it's a colour of a sign in a restaurant. I think that actually not overwhelming my brain with Pinterest that I love, Instagram that I love, magazines that I love. I think it's just the act of noticing. I feel at my most creative when I'm not online and when I'm traveling and I'm just present, because otherwise my brain just feels so overwhelmed and so excited. And I'm sure, like many of you guys, I'm constantly saving stuff, but then I never go back to it. And actually when I'm in that present moment and I see a colour or the shape of the clouds, or just watching people, I love watching people, that really sparks a lasting creativity in my brain, because it's there and I can't get rid of that feeling. So I'd say just being present wherever I am is when I'm at my most creative. This is the kids' playroom. They all sleep in one bedroom upstairs, and because of that there's not that much space for their toys, so we turn this into a den for them. And I absolutely love it. I love the colours in here. We've got this kind of butter yellow in this, I don't know, like bunk bed den. And then in the kind of corners here, we've got a blue. And then I painted the top in this kind of, the zigzags in a rusty red. All of these paints are by Beata Human, and I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. I kind of want to live in this room. And it's nice to be very colourful in here. And it really, I think it very much represents my children and their personality. It's very tidy, by the way. It's never this tidy. I got a friend, Ross, to make this for me and to make the desk. I wanted a space where they could play, they could do their art, they could just be themselves and create mess. Obviously, it's very tidy now. It's hard to see it when it's messy. This is a beautiful doll's house. Look. This is what it usually looks like in here, guys, just to give you a fair representation of what's usually going on. My father-in-law made this for my daughter, and it's so beautiful and it's really special. And so there wasn't really a space for it. It was on the floor, and then my son kept chewing on the pieces. So when we kind of did all of this, we made a special place for the house to sit. We've got a beautiful picture here by my husband's friend. It really makes me think of Cornwall, which is a place where we go on holiday a lot, and I just love that it feels very British. A man in a vest sat on the end of the bed looking out the window with a picture of his wife on the wall, probably listening to the radio. It feels really British and a bit, I don't know, people come in and they're like, oh, is that your dad? I'm like, no, it's not my dad, it's a painting that we bought. So yeah, I love it. Then we've got all of our books up here, loads of stuff, loads of kids' books. My friend Matilda Goad makes incredible hardware. So we've got these beautiful hardware doorknobs on here. And then lots of just kind of nice books, and yeah, I try and create like memory books of wherever we go with the kids, and we very luckily went to the Maldives, and so I did them a little travel book of what we ate, who we saw, what we did. So yeah, I've got all the memory books on there. I'm a huge foodie, so I've got all my books like Where Chefs Eat, classic. And my daughter absolutely loves karaoke. So we occasionally do karaoke. And then there's a massive bed throw that we have just done with Glassette and the Secret Linen Store. And it was based on a vintage American quilt that I found in a shop called Stella Dallas in New York. And I just wanted something that felt American and quilty, and something that you could, you know, use for multiple reasons, like a picnic or on your bed or in a playroom. So I love this. And this is kind of denim inspired. This is what we always say to the kids. You can do hard things because you can do anything that you put your mind to. This fireplace was actually here when we got the house, and it is a working fireplace, but obviously we don't use it in here. But it's nice to kind of have a bit of a nod to the original house with such a beautiful Victorian feature. I think there are so many things that makes a home come alive, but it's definitely the energy of a house, and I feel like not every house has that energy. I feel like if these walls could talk, they'd be telling us a really great story. I mean, I had two of my children, one exactly where the camera is, my last baby 2 years ago, and one in one of the other rooms. So there's been life that's been born here. There's energy in this house, and you can't always articulate that. It is a feeling, but a happy home is really loud, and I don't mean loud in volume, but you walk in and you gravitate towards the house. You want to walk in, you want to be nosy. And I think that a house that's well lived in, not tidy, where lots of things have happened, I don't know, it just creates this energy, doesn't it? And again, I don't know how to put it into words. It's a feeling that I'm not sure that I can articulate, but I feel like you just know, you know? The word home means safety to me. It means a place where I can completely be myself. I take off any sort of mask that I've been wearing at work, at the school pickup. It's a place where I can really, truly be myself, and that isn't about the four walls that occupy the space. Again, it really is a feeling, but it's a feeling of safety, and how lucky we are to have that, because not everybody does. So I never take for granted that I have a home that makes me feel safe, or a space that makes me feel safe. Homeworthy, it's been an absolute pleasure showing you around my home today, but it's time for you to go. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Say bye, Barry. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.